Welcome to Gunz Bunz, a podcast that celebrates strong, successful women. Please like and subscribe to our Gunz and Rollz fitness channel to see more episodes like this one. Today I would like to welcome my friend and guest, Ashley Richard. Hi, Ashley.
Hi.
Ashley has been married to Avery Richard for 8.5 years, and together they own Triumph Fight Academy in Indian Land, South Carolina. She is a mom of 3 young boys, ages 6, 2, and 1. She has a bachelor's degree in business administration from Southwestern Oklahoma State University, as well as a master's in business administration with an emphasis in accounting from Winthrop University. Ashley is the gym manager at Triumph Fight Academy. Before going to work full-time for TFA, Ashley worked as a tax accountant in Charlotte for 6 years. She currently homeschools her 6-year-old son, who is in kindergarten. She is a car rental host on Turo and a TikTok shop affiliate. Additionally, she maintains 2 German Shepherds and 18 chickens. She started BJJ, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, in 2019 and is currently a blue belt. And if that weren't enough, Ashley loves playing pickleball and reading books in her spare time. But if you ask her, though, her main hobby is managing her 3 little boys who love to wrestle and fight all the time. Right, Ashley? Welcome, girl. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. All right. So I'm going to start first with tell us a little bit about your journey and kind of like what got you to where you are at today. Like maybe give us a little background info about how you grew up, where you're from, just like that.
So I'm originally from the Kansas City area. I was born there. I lived there until Avery and I left to go to college.
Okay.
So we've been together since 2007. It'll be 18 years this year.
Wait, how old were you when you met?
Well, we met when we were in 3rd grade, but we didn't start dating until right before 8th grade.
Aww.
So that was 2007. And then when we went to college, he went to go play football. And I played softball in high school. Wow. So like I did have a couple offers to go play softball, but I honestly never really thought about doing that. I don't know. It was kind of just a thing I did in high school, and I was done. I just wanted to focus on my career and going to school. And so there was never really, I know it's going to sound weird, but there was never really a time that I thought that we would ever go anywhere separately. Mm-hmm. So when he was looking for schools to go play football, mm-hmm. We went together. We went to go tour all the different schools together, and we ended up going to a school that was in Highland, Kansas. It was a little community college that we went to that he played for a couple years, and then from there he went to go to Southwestern Oklahoma State, and that's how we ended up there.
Okay.
For football, and after that, I knew I wanted to get my master's degree because mm-hmm. at the time I was doing tax accounting or wanted to do accounting. Mm-hmm. So in order to get my CPA license and everything, I needed to get my master's. His aunt, uncle live here in South Carolina. Okay. And so we were looking for a place to go for me to do my master's at. Mm-hmm. And his uncle wanted to open a gym, and they kind of talked about it. And this was before we got married, before we had kids. We did get married the year we graduated college in 2016, and we got married. We graduated in May. We got married in July of that, right after we graduated. Okay. So we graduated, got married, and moved to South Carolina all in the same summer. Wow. And that's why we moved here to South Carolina, was for me to do my master's at Winthrop, and then he started the gym with his uncle. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it kind of just grew into what it is now. I mean, I did accounting for 6 years, and then he kept growing the gym, and I helped with that, and then it just got to be bigger to where mm-hmm. there was a lot of stuff that I needed to do. Mm-hmm. So I basically took the leap of faith. Yeah. It was a good leap. We went full send. And so now that's what I do, among, other random side things that I keep finding myself to do.
Oh, wow. Okay, so tell us a little bit more about Triumph Fight Academy. It's an awesome place to be. I highly recommend it if you are in the Charlotte area. So tell us a little bit about Triumph Fight Academy, maybe like how that has kind of changed over time? Because I know the gym has evolved a lot since I've even been there, since my family's been there in 2021. So the gym was established
Yeah,
in
so
what year?
him and his uncle, we moved here August 2016, and it kind of started out as like a little club that they did in Beaufort, South Carolina.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They did like, it was like a little firehouse thing
Okay.
that they did like free training for firefighters, veterans,
Okay.
police officers, stuff like that. Um, they had like these little, very thin puzzle mats.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and they didn't really do all the stuff that we do now. They
Okay.
did more just like Kyokushin karate. They did like grappling, but it wasn't actually like jujitsu. And then they finally decided, they're like, okay, well, we're going to make this into a business. So in April of, I think, 2017
Okay.
is when Indian Land MMA was established.
Okay.
And they moved it into an actual building.
Okay.
And they started with just like kickboxing classes, because Avery has a background in like grappling, but it wasn't actually like, he was more like doing striking and MMA stuff. And I think he says submission grappling.
Okay.
And then, so we started off doing just kickboxing and all that stuff. And then eventually we met like Paulo and them from Core, and they kind of helped us start a jiu-jitsu program in the gym.
Yes.
And so they kind of just started out with a few people like Chris and David. They were one of the first people. Brittany was the first female that was there. I remember like meeting her, and Avery's like, "This is Brittany," when he was still trying to get me to do it, because I wasn't doing it at that time.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of the people, Brooklyn and her dad Alan, they came, and they actually, it's kind of funny because they came off of a Groupon, and you know how like Groupons, you just try it one time and then you like whatever.
Yeah.
But they came off of Groupon and they're still here with us now.
Wow,
So
that's
we always
awesome.
kind of joke about how like, because we always thought that the whole Groupon thing that his uncle did was like not a great idea,
Right, but
because you get like nothing from it, but
now
I mean,
you have,
it turned out
you have long-lasting members. That's awesome. And for anyone listening, so Brittany, I hope to have her on one day. But Brittany is also our women's coach of our women's class that we have on Wednesdays at 5, and she's now a purple belt. So that's awesome to see like her kind of evolve over time. So she was our first female. So we started with how many girls would you say? Then her, and then it kind of.
Yeah, she started, and then kind of about the same time that I started, because we had our first son. In November 2018, and I started, this is when Avery and I took over the gym, like fully, was in January 2019.
Okay.
So I started jiu-jitsu around, I think it was like February that year. January, February sometime, because it was right after my 6 weeks recovery, because I had a C-section and everything, so it was a little bit longer timing and all that. And Stephanie and David Chuklia, they're all Amanda's wife. David's wife, Amanda. Was there, and then we had a couple other people, but there was only like maybe 5 of us, 4 of us. It kind of depends on the day, and then it just kind of grew from there.
And now, how many members do you have roughly? Would you say?
Right now we have roughly about 300 or so.
Oh my goodness.
Give or take. I mean, obviously people, we have, I mean, it's not like a contract or anything, so it goes, people do other sports and injuries and other things, so but I would say consistently around that number.
Wow.
But we started off with like 15.
Wow. Wow, that's so amazing. Wow, yeah. And then to even just see the women's program grow too, it's just, even in the time I've been there, it'll be 3 years. I mean, it was 3 years in January. That's when my family initially started. I started July. It'll be 3 years for me doing jiu-jitsu. But like, I've just seen the gym change so much too in the last few years that I've been there. So many new faces, and people are coming in with like so much like gusto, and like they are just like ready to go and compete, and it's just, the gym has just changed so much.
It scares me, honestly. Like all the females, like just seeing what it started off, and now like I just feel like everybody's so good. Like,
yeah, they are.
And in their own way too, because like we have like, younger girls, older girls, older women. Like, I mean, it's just like everybody. Like, it's for anybody, really.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. And so you had said in your bio, like, you had started jiu-jitsu in 2019 and that you're a blue belt, but you've taken some time off here and there to have all these little babies. And so do you see yourself, like, getting back into training too? Like, you try when you can, right?
Yeah,
like,
I do. So, I did. So we had started, and I was doing great for a while, consistently. And then we had our second son, and that's around the time I actually did the Pedigo seminar, the first time that they ever came to our gym. I was pregnant and I didn't know it.
Okay.
So I found out like right after that seminar that I was pregnant with Logan, which is funny because I signed up for my first blue belt tournament because I got my blue belt in January 2021, and he was born May 2022. So it wasn't long after that, and I think the Pedigo people came March or something that year, which is when we moved into the location we're in now.
Okay.
So like I signed up for my first tournament, and then after he was born, I was going to get back into it, and then found out not too long after that. I did sign up for another tournament, though, before the third one. So I tried again to do my first blue belt tournament, and I found out again that I was pregnant with our third boy.
Wow.
And so after him, I kind of took some time off. And then I recently tried to get back into it, like a couple months ago, where like our kids, our two youngest are in daycare, and we homeschool our oldest. So he goes to like the homeschool classes and everything. Yeah. And so trying to balance like the work and him and what I need to do, because the night classes are hard because Avery teaches every night. So he's not there to help the kids or anything. Obviously, but he has to teach people. That is his job. But so it's hard with that, just like the guilt that I have, I guess. Like, if I don't see them during the day because of working and stuff, and then like having them go like, to Avery's parents or something. Yes. And then I did. I started going consistently to the noon classes, so I could actually have time to train. Good. But in December, I found out that I had a miscarriage. Oh. So it kind of stopped. Yes. Okay. Training again.
Oh, Ashley. Yeah. Sorry. No, it's okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh.
But it's not really like something I told anybody. Yeah.
I'm sorry, girl.
Because I'm kind of still trying to process it. Still going through it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
But yeah, I mean, it was good getting back into it, and I want to. Yeah. So, oh gosh.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, because, oh god.
So, but it seems like, I mean, that's one thing with this, doing jiu-jitsu, right? Like it ebbs and flows and there's seasons, right? And eventually you'll get back into it. But like, I mean, you're so busy right now and you're in the trenches raising these beautiful children, and you're running a business, and it's a very successful business, and doing all the things that you do. It's just, I mean, I don't know how you do it. It's a lot. Wow.
It is.
But wow, you have a very supportive family, I've noticed. Like your parents, Avery's parents, they're all here. They kind of surround you guys and help you when they can. So what is it that you just kind of keeps you going? What is it that drives you to do all these things? Because, I mean, like you said, there's a lot of guilt as a mom, I know, like being able to like be there for your kids, but then you want to be successful in your career. That's one thing I juggle with too, like balancing the work and family, especially since Avery's so invested in the business too. Like it has to be hard. Like you have to find time for the kids, find time for yourself. So how do you do all those things? What drives you to be this person?
Honestly, the kids. Yeah. Because we went all in for the business. So just making sure, because it is our, I mean, I have like small little things, but it is our income. So it is what puts food on the table. But then also just basically you guys, like, I mean, hearing what everybody says about, like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
No, please, it's okay. It's okay.
What everybody says about their success. And oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Like, it's more than just a place for them to go to.
Yeah.
A lot of people need it. Like, it's an escape for them.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I didn't think I was gonna be this emotional.
It's okay.
But like, people are going through so many different things that, like Avery talks about all the time, where he's like the coach, but he's also like a therapist in a way, because people trust him, and this is the place for them to go to have an outlet. Yeah. So just being that for them. Yeah. Having a place for them to go. Yes. And like what Addie said, that she didn't ever have like girlfriends that like like just having a group of people, and like you said that you never did sports prior to this. So like just having something that you can like go to and have a group of people that support you. Also, like I know like with Avery especially, he said, and Mia, his sister, they both played sports in college, right? So they played sports basically their whole life, and they've always been on a team. Yeah. And then after college, like if you don't go play professionally, like it's just over. Like,
and that has to be hard.
And it's like, I know Mia, she struggled with like, not to put her business out there or anything, but like she struggled with like feeling a part of something again. And I know Avery has said like he wants to create that for people, because it is something that you can do when you're young to when you're older. And even if you're like 50 years old, you can still be part of the team, whether you're competing or not. Like you're still part of the team if you just go train with them to help them prepare, or just training to be there, training to talk to people, to have something. And like it's just knowing that we can provide that for people is what makes us keep going, even though it's hard, like not being able to do it myself all the time, but knowing that just Avery's there too.
Yes, and you're helping other people
provide that.
Yes, for them, absolutely. And you're behind the scenes doing all that hard work too. I feel like we always joke in our girl group that we'll ask Avery something and he's like, I don't know, email Ashley, ask Ashley, text Ashley. And we're like, you are that almost like this little puppet master behind the scenes, kind of pulling
Sabrina,
the strings.
Because like I talk to people on the phone, I text them, I get them to come in. Yes. And then Sabrina at the front desk, she'll talk to people and she'll be like, yeah, Ashley's like the wizard behind the curtain.
You are.
And then when I do come in the gym, she's like, oh my gosh, the wizard's here. And then people are like, I've never like seen your face, but I've talked to you. And they're like, like, I was like, I've talked to you before in some way or another, but like.
But I want to take a moment and just say, like, if you do not know Ashley and Avery Richard, these two, they are the most humble people you will ever meet. They are the nicest, most kind-hearted people ever. I don't think you give yourselves enough credit. I wish sometimes, we're at tournaments and our team, like at that last tournament in New Breed, like we swept the entire tournament, and these two are just behind the scenes like, oh, we don't need pictures. Like they're just, you guys are just so humble and down to earth, and I think that's why you've just attracted such a following at the gym, because people see that in you, and we all just adore you guys. You're great, and so I hope you guys feel the love that we feel for you too, and that we feel for the gym. Sometimes I wonder, like, if you guys like it, appreciate it, the attention, or if it's like, here they go talking about it again. But it's just, it's like another family. I hope you guys feel that too. But it's been great to kind of just be there. Sometimes when like the going gets tough and it's like, oh, well, you know, paying a gym membership or doing X, Y, and Z can be kind of expensive. And you think about like, well, do we really need to be doing this? But then it's like, no, I can't give that up. Those are my people now. Right. And so I do honestly feel like you were saying, like it's a family. It's like a second home for people. It's another outlet for people. I know it's almost like, it sounds silly, but it saves lives in a sense, right?
Does,
It helps people cope with what they're going through. Absolutely. Oh, making me all bit emotional over here too.
I'm sorry.
All right. As far as jiu-jitsu, though, I know the gym also offers like other programs. Have you ever done any of the other disciplines, like kickboxing or
Yeah, I
judo,
did
wrestling?
kickboxing when at the a while ago. I think this was before Logan was born. I know a couple of us girls. I know Stephanie was doing it
Yes.
for a while, or we would go to kickboxing classes also. But I think this was before we had the larger schedule that we do now, where we offer both of them at the same time. So we would go sometimes, but it's just not. I don't like getting punched in the face.
I know, right? Right.
We did like a sparring thing one time, and I was like, "Oh no, I don't. I mean, I'll get choked, and like all that
thanks.
stuff, but I don't want to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how." Amber was talking about Hannah doing her fight.
Yes.
Not that long ago, and she said something along the lines of like she really wants to do MMA. And then she was like, I love getting punched in the face. Like, just like stone cold, like Amber. And I was like, Amber, you really scare me. She's like, I really want to, but I don't want to like take away time from jiu-jitsu to train for that.
Yeah.
But she was like, I love getting punched in the face. And I was like,
you're like, that's not me.
Okay.
No,
not me.
So you guys also travel a lot too, because a gym with almost nearly 300 members, and you have a lot of people that are active on the MMA side, the jiu-jitsu side. We have a lot of people that compete like in the really big tournaments, local tournaments, like, and then like MMA fights and things like that. So do you travel with Avery to most of those? I feel like you go to a lot of them.
Yeah, I go to, I think all of them that I can. The only one I didn't go to was when my sister had her baby, and I went to Kansas City for that instead. But other than that, I do travel with him, and we try to take Christian to as many of them as we can. This is a main reason also why we wanted to homeschool him, because we did last year. We put him in like the school offers, like the free preschool 4K program that we put him in, but we were traveling so much that I know he's going to get like truancy.
Truancy
missing so much school. But then it also allows him to like go with us, because we the babies, they'll go with either Avery's parents or usually my parents. Will watch them for that, depending on where we're going. Like if it's Vegas, I definitely don't take them. I don't like to take Christian to Vegas. That's the one he doesn't go to. But other than that, we're going to Ohio at the end of this month for the youth MMA, which Christian is competing.
Wow, awesome.
That's exciting. But then it's February, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Next month we have it's in Florida. I don't know what it is. Pans. World.
Yep.
Pans. It's Pans. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we have Pans next month in Florida that we're going to. And it's just, there's consistently lots of different things to go to, but we use it as like our vacation time, basically. We'll go, obviously we go to tournaments all day long, and then at night we'll go do something fun.
Nice.
Or depending on who's training, when they'll go do some more training somewhere else. And they like to go do that cross training in different places to get different looks at different things. So it's always fun.
That's another cool thing about like these tournaments and the traveling aspect of it too. Or even if you're not competing, just to be able to go and support your teammates, that's been really cool.
Yeah,
like
that's my main job.
The
support.
The support, or like at school we call them support chairs. The support chairs, or the people that like hype up like your teammate that's going into it. I would say that that's another thing about Triumph. Like just this team of people, like we all support each other, whatever it may be. If you have a win, it's a win for the gym. It's a win for all of us, because we all just kind of appreciate one another, and we know how hard we work in the gym. So it's really cool to see that. And you're always there filming. You're like the little filmographer.
Yeah, I try.
Right?
I'm not really good at it. I wish I was better, but it's so awkward for me to like do the whole interview part of it. Like I'll record the videos and I'll record people walking and warming up and stuff, but then like after they, like when Kevin won his, and I was like, so you won. Like, it's so awkward for me, because I'm just like, I feel like they don't want to like like, get the camera out of my face.
Aw,
But then, like, I
no,
also
it's
feel
great.
like they kind of, like, want to be in the video, but it's, like, super
Yes.
awkward for me. So
Yes.
I prefer when somebody else does it.
Well,
but
I will
try.
just tell you, my husband has watched his World's video over and over. He adores it. I love it. I think it's great. I think you guys are doing the right thing.
Good.
So do you splice it all together? Who kind of does the editing and like
no,
all the
Avery does
video?
most of
Oh, he
that.
does.
Yeah, I'll
Awesome.
go through because, like, if I'm the one that records some of the clips and stuff, I'll go through and kind of get rid of the ones that, like, I kind of just, like, record a whole video.
Yes.
And then I know, like, trying to get the conversation started to get, like, what I'm looking for in the video to kind of, like, and I'll break it down for him.
Yeah.
But then I send it to him and he edits.
Yeah.
The words are hard. It's whatever. He does the video.
Yes, that's awesome. Awesome.
But,
Does he do you do the social media? Does he?
No,
He does all that too.
All that.
These are all things I've wondered, Ashley, all these years.
Yeah, so I do like the phone calls and all that stuff. He runs Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
YouTube, shorts, all that stuff. He puts all those videos together. I'll go like record some of the videos for shorts and stuff. But he does most of that.
And so you're more like the managerial tasks, like for the actual gym.
Yeah, I do like some of the posters and stuff. Not the big posters. We got Pete to do that. But any of the like the little ones, like the Friday night super fights and stuff that we do, I do like those, the posters and stuff for that.
Awesome.
And I also edit his grammar because I spell check. So if there's ever something misspelled, I didn't get to see it first.
Yeah. Yes. So where can people find more like information about Try and Fight Academy? You want to like plug anything?
Yeah. I think our Instagram is probably the best place. It's just at Try and Fight Academy. We do also have a website, it's tryandfightacademy.com. We are on YouTube. We have we try to put videos on YouTube. I mean, obviously we are pretty busy, so it's kind of hard sometimes.
Yeah.
To remember to do that, but yeah.
Awesome. And at the gym, there's what disciplines do you guys offer besides jiu-jitsu?
So we have the jiu-jitsu, which is gi and no gi. We have kickboxing. There is a boxing class specifically on Monday nights for adults. We do wrestling, judo. There is a sambo class for adults on Wednesday nights, MMA, and I think that's all of them.
Okay. And the kids program is just wildly growing. Yes. Oh my goodness. Like one day we were counting and I swear there were only over 50 kids and it was just
Stephanie texted me one day. She's like, there's like 54 kids
in here. Stephanie and I were counting. It's like, Stephanie, what am I saying? I can talk too. Stephanie, let's count. Oh my goodness. There were so many between like the kickboxing and or whatever that class was, but then also jiu-jitsu. So that's grown. And then they just are performing so well at tournaments. They usually win first place every time we go.
They won today. They went, I think it was a judo thing that there was like not very many that went, and I think they won. I'm pretty sure right before I left, Avery told me that they won that today. Wow. Which is awesome. And I know we had a couple people doing a Fuji tournament somewhere, but that was only like Corey and a couple adults, I think.
Yeah.
Tommy and Chris.
So between the two, accountant and gym managing, which one's harder?
Definitely gym managing.
Wow.
Just because like we do own the business, so it's not something that I really ever turn off.
Yeah.
Like I try to, but even when I'm at home, like I'll get a call from somebody.
Yes.
And it'll be like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, well, it's past like hours, but then I'm like, well, what if they need like, what if this is like if I don't answer this call right now and they don't come in, like, so I try to always be available. Sometimes I'll just text them and be like, hey, now it's not a great time, but when can I call you tomorrow or something? So I think just probably gym managing because so many people rely on us, I think. And just because we never turn it off. He goes to the gym, but then he comes home and he watches all these training videos and lesson plans and watches all the things to post. And it's just nonstop, basically. Yeah. Which, I mean, it's great to be busy. I'm not complaining about that at all. But we never turn it off. So.
Yeah. I feel like him and Kevin have had conversations like at midnight before. And I'm like,
Yes.
really? I'm like, I think 10 o'clock's the cutoff, guys. But no, I get it. But yeah, you're always on the go. Like, what would you say a typical day looks like from the time you get up to the time you go to bed, so I can feel better about myself and not have a pity party on myself?
It kind of changes depending on what needs to be done that day. Like, we do have an after-school program, so because there's been so many people sick, if there's ever one of them that are out, then I'll go do that. So that kind of like takes away from me being able to do the other stuff that I need to do. But obviously we need somebody there to get the kids and everything. But I do get to sleep in. So you guys that wake up early, like it's ridiculous.
And you have a 1-year-old and you get to sleep in. How do you get to sleep in? You have a 1-year-old.
They're actually really good sleepers, to be honest. Great. But they have to be to daycare by 9 o'clock. So I usually get them there at like 8:55. So we get up at like 8 o'clock. And I get them ready and take them. And then Christian and I will come back to the house. And we try to do his schoolwork earlier. But the good thing about doing the homeschooling is that it is very flexible. So if I do have to go do something else, then we can do it a little bit later in the day. Or if there's ever like going home at night, then we can always do it then too. So that's great. So what my day I would like it to look like would be to drop them off, do the homeschool stuff, do some work that I have to do until I go get the kids, in which I have to pick them up by 5:30. So that always puts, I can't ever go to the women's class.
The women's class, yes.
But
non-stop because you're chauffeuring children around.
Though, yeah. I mean, and I know it's like another one of those things that
it is.
I feel like guilty about now because they will be old enough, like in just a short little amount of time where they'll be old enough to all go to the kids' class to where they can go to the kids' class, I can go to the women's class. Or also that they're just like older where it's easier for Avery's mom because they are a lot. So all three of them together, like if I'm like, here's the kids, like they are a lot, like, especially the little two, like they just run and fight and run and nonstop. So.
I wonder why they fight. I mean, parents own a gym. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. I think that was so funny, the grocery store video. Was it Avery that shared that one?
Yes.
That was that Kenzo and it was Kenzo and Logan.
Yeah, we went to.
Oh my gosh, that was hysterical.
That was a day that we went to 2 different super fights. So we went to one in Denver.
Wow.
That Avery coached a couple people there, and then we drove like 3 hours to
the Garami pit fighting one.
Pit fighting.
Yes, you went to that one.
So we went to that one, and then after he was done, it was like in the same parking lot as the Food Lion, so we just went inside to get some snacks before we went home, and they were just like fighting, and I definitely think Kenzo got more significant strikes and won that match, but
if you know, you know. If you've seen the video, oh my gosh, it was hysterical. This little 2-year-old and 1-year-old going at it, but
that's what they do all the time.
Oh, so. I mean, they're just used to it. They're surrounded by that. That's so funny. So how did you guys get into the whole car rental piece? Like, I mean, you're busy enough, but like, started renting some cars out.
So it kind of started when the after school program, we have vans for that we use. But before we had the second van, we used a minivan. And then it was kind of around COVID time where vans were really hard to find. So we finally did find one. Like, it was like literally the only van available. So we got it, but then we had this other minivan that we had. So we were like, well, let's just rent it out. And because there's Turo is like a private rental thing. So we rented that out. And then it was like going pretty good. So then I bought another car to do that as well. And then we kind of got out of it for a little bit because we had the minivan that we had on there. It got totaled. And then, so we didn't have that extra car that we kind of just used whenever. And then I started driving the other car that we had on there. So we got out of that. But then recently we wanted to get rid of, we had to get a bigger car because I do want a 4th child, and the car that I had, it only holds 3 in the back. So we were like, well, let's get in. We ended up getting a van for that. And so then we had this car that we were going to trade in, but, we decided to trade that in for another minivan to rent out because the minivans just rent out so well on
Yeah,
there.
good to know. I have a minivan.
Yeah, so they rent out so well on there. So we traded that in for a cheaper car payment, basically, than what we were paying because we were like, this is kind of ridiculous, actually. And so we traded that in, and so now we put that on there. And we recently started it back up, like a couple weeks ago, actually.
Okay.
So it's been going good. It's actually getting rented out today. So I went earlier to go clean the car.
Awesome.
And take pictures of it and everything. But I do want to get like a couple more because it's just, I mean, it's not hard to do.
It's not.
No, I mean, I do everything contactless. So it just put everything on there, upload it, take pictures.
Cool.
And
it's pretty easy to do.
It's
worth the while.
Yeah,
like
it's definitely, especially with the summer months coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I know like December, January, February are usually slower months, depending on the types of cars.
Yeah.
And the area that you're in, but it's fun. And
nice. Something else to keep you busy, keep you
it's
going.
It's because I have nothing else to do.
For sure. So you also had the TikTok. I can talk. Oh my goodness. The TikTok affiliate. Tell me about that because I did not know about this.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Well, it kind of just like was a random thing that me and Stephanie were talking about one day. And so I worked really, really hard to post a bunch of videos and get enough followers. So I have like 2,600 followers right now.
What?
And once you get to a certain level, then you can apply to be an affiliate. So I just kept like trying to do it. And eventually I did, like right before, it was like the end of November around Thanksgiving time, that I finally did. And so I just started posting videos of like selling things. Like I was like, oh, I bought this. This is great. And I made $30 on there. So I'm super proud of myself. But
oh my goodness.
ever since Christmas, I just kind of haven't done anything with it. So
well, you and I need to have a conversation privately after this is over. But anyway, so yeah, you just see what? So you buy like certain items and then
so really you can sell anything that.
Okay.
So like if, let's say this water bottle, for example, you don't actually have to buy it off of TikTok shop. I mean, they do have a ton of stuff on there, and I have bought plenty on there. But don't tell Avery. But you can just post anything. So, like, if you have this water bottle and you find that it is on TikTok, then you can just link it below, and then you're just like, this water bottle is so great. You should buy it. Click the link below, and then people buy it, and then you get money. So
wow. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But it's one of those things that I have kind of put off to the side because I tried so hard. It was like a big goal to just like get there and then be an affiliate, and then I did, and I was like, okay, well,
all right, I did it. Done. Moving on. What else? I know. No, I get that. It's very hard to. I always think like I always have all these endeavors and these ideas, and I'm like I could do this, this, and this, and like especially in the summertime because that's my downtime as a teacher. Every summer I'm like, what can I do? I want to be productive because I'm
so good at it.
Right. Well, it's like I'm always on the go, and so I think like during the school year. I'm like, I can't handle another thing. But during the summer, you go from like going 100 miles a minute to like nothing. Yeah. And now it's just like I'm a sloth and just sitting around and being like, so, anyway. So I'm always looking for things I can do like in the summer and challenge myself.
Bubbly and everything that I think you'd be like, I'm so very much introverted. And like even watching my videos back, like, it makes me like cringe a lot. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to post this. But like even like the videos for the gym, like I post those. Even the one with like me talking to Kevin, like I can hear my voice or I can hear myself laughing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, please turn that off. And every time Avery goes through and like is editing the videos, and I can hear myself screaming or hear myself talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, please turn that on mute and watch these videos. Kevin
and I, when we were watching, going back to the Worlds. So for those of you that don't know, my husband's a world champion, and he got his purple belt on the podium. That was amazing. I couldn't be there, but you hear Ashley in the background and you're like, yes, Kevin, and we were cracking up. We thought it was adorable. So I mean, you're your own worst critic, because I don't think other people see you that way. So just so you know that, it made me laugh. Yes, Kevin.
I was like, I'm trying to be here and cheer for all the people that can't be here. So
I know. That was so amazing watching all of that from the comfort of my couch. But but yeah, it was so awesome. Okay, so another thing that you tackle is managing a bunch of chickens. So, what made you guys start doing that? Was it because of the cost of eggs, or you were just
know,
it's just something you wanted to try?
Avery just randomly got some chickens.
Of course, Avery.
And we had 5 originally to start out with, and then something got in and got those chickens, so we didn't have them. And then there was a guy that knows Avery's uncle that they were I think they were moving from one house to another, and they were like, hey, we have 23 chickens. Can you hold, because at the time it was after the other one, so our chicken coop was empty.
Okay.
So they were like, can you hold these chickens for us while we move, and then we'll come get them, and if you want to keep a couple of them or whatever for doing that for us. And then they just never came back. So they never called us back. So then we had 23 chickens.
Wow.
And we have 18 left. Our dog has gotten a few of them.
No,
not gonna lie, she's a chicken hater. And so we do have 18 of them now. But, I mean, they're just now starting to produce eggs again, so it is great, especially because the cost of eggs right now. So our kids love eggs. Avery eats as many eggs as he can. So,
is this something you've known a lot about, or you've had to kind of learn and teach yourself?
Yeah, I think Avery knows more.
Okay.
I kind of just, I'll go down there and get the eggs. But he, basically takes care of them during the day. He'll go clean out the coop, all the stuff, clean out the water bowl. It does get, because of where we have it at our house, it's further down in our backyard. It gets, super gross in there a lot. So he'll go clean it out, get them. And Christian, that's, part of what he does. He'll wake up in the morning. He'll go down there, and he'll go open the door for them so they can come out. Because we wanted to get, an automatic door, but we don't trust our dog enough to that it, something wouldn't happen. Because if they are in our backyard, she will kill them. So, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. But she will get them. But so he goes down there after we let them out and run around, let the dogs run around and everything. He'll go down there, he'll collect the eggs, and he'll let the chickens out. So that's part of his duties for the morning that he does. So
nice.
Pretty cool that he can do that, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you guys have started playing pickleball. I mean, it sounds like you guys have had a very athletic background. It just sounds like it's another thing. Are you one of these people? You're just good at every sport you do?
Well,
I mean, Miss
me and Avery are just very competitive, in literally anything that we do. So, whether it's taking out the trash or picking stuff up, it's well, I can do it faster than you. I can do it better than you. We're just very competitive. But he is better at pickleball than me now because he gets to go play more during the day. Because, his job is at night, so then he can go during the day and play pickleball. And he's like, don't you have stuff to do? And I'm like, leave me alone, I'm going to play pickleball. But, no, I'm just kidding. But he, we'll go play during the day. Mostly just we haven't in a while because it's been cold, and I prefer to play outside.
Oh, you do? Okay.
And there's a place to do inside, but you have to pay for that. And it's $50 an hour.
That's by my school. That's by my school, right? The Charlotte Pickleball. Where do you guys go outside to do that?
There's at the Fort Mill YMCA, right by our house.
Oh, okay. They have courts.
They have outdoor courts that are free. You just have to reserve them. But other than that, it's just so fun, and it we in college we used to go play tennis a lot because Avery played tennis in high school.
Oh my goodness, he's a jack of all trades, man.
Yeah, he played something in high school every season except one. He bowled, he did track, he wrestled, football, all this stuff. But so we played tennis a lot in college as just something else to do. So then when we found out about pickleball, we were like, this is cool. I like this.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, kind of switching gears a little bit. Again, the premise of this podcast is to feature women that have had success, portray a strong female vibe. And so, looking at your bio and just knowing everything I know about you, Ashley, you were one right away. I'm like, I got to have Ashley on. So, a couple of questions regarding that. What does success look like to you? Because I know, again, everyone probably has their own definition of what success means in their own life. So, in your life, what does success look like?
I mean, I think, honestly, of course, this is different for everybody, but I think success for me changes daily. I mean, in different areas of my
Yeah.
life. Some days success is literally just getting up and getting dressed for the day because some days are hard.
Yeah.
Keeping my children alive
Mhm.
because they are trying to. There's just another whole other story, but I mean, I think major success for us is through the success of other people.
Yeah.
Just seeing, like we already talked about earlier, just seeing everybody
Yeah.
else, knowing that what we're doing is helping them do, like, live their life to the fullest, and being a space for them is what drives the success for us. Like, it's not, we have, like, obviously we have the gym, we have all this stuff, but we still want to do more, like more for people, offer things for people,
Yeah.
like the seminars and all that stuff that we
I
like,
know.
just basically giving back to people, like because you guys are
Yeah.
what puts food on our table, so we
Yeah.
want to give as much back to you guys
Yeah.
as we can, so that you guys are successful,
I
so that
love
you
it.
guys have somewhere to go, somewhere
Yeah.
to.
How do you, what brought you and Avery to that point that you're so, just giving and just I maybe you don't feel this way about yourselves, but I see it about you. And going back to what I said previously, you guys are just some of the coolest, down to earth people. You don't want the attention. What is it that makes you two like that? I mean,
So I think one thing that attributes to this would be the house fire that we had back in November 2019, right before our son was going to turn 1. We had a house fire.
oh my goodness.
And so November 1st of that year, or at this time, we moved into our second location. So we had just upgraded the gym. And then on November 9th in 2019, we had a house fire. We were not at home at the time, and we were in Tennessee, in Nashville, for Avery was doing an IBJJF tournament there. So we were there.
Was Christian with you at the
Christian
time?
was with us, yes.
Okay.
Our 3 dogs were at home, and they did not make it. So they were there. Avery's dad was letting out our dogs while we were gone, and he went to the house, saw that there was a fire, tried to get the dogs out, wasn't able to. But I think since then, just the amount of support we got from that, and the help of the community during that time, because we had just moved into the new building. So we were like, oh, everything's great. We're going to move into this new building. And then 8 days later, we had a house fire.
Your
we
whole
lost
world.
everything. So I think it just knowing how helpful people were to us, we just want to pay that back to other people. And sorry, I lost my train of thought. But just being there for other people, like they were there for us, is just what. And then we don't put anything that's valuable or anything anymore. We don't.
You're not materialistic.
Sometimes I feel like people kind of see it as I'm a little crazy for it because they're like,
Yeah.
well, do you want to keep this or do you want to keep that? And I'm like, no, because like it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
the things that like our family matters, and they were
Yes.
there. They were all alive. And obviously we did lose the dogs, and that was really hard because we had 3 of them.
Yeah.
So and they were like our little
They're your
babies.
people.
So
Yeah.
and then it is hard, like now, like Christian will go back and he'll see the pictures of them because like they knew him, but like he was less than a year old. So
Yeah.
just like how many people were there for us.
Yeah.
We just want to repay
That's
that.
awesome.
To
The
other
fact that
people.
you're able to like speak about that, like I just know how I am, and had I had a little kiddo, like I think back to Hannah being a baby, and like I mean for Christian to be so young and to kind of lose everything. I mean, I just remember those days when my kids were little and like just cherishing all of that, like having a baby for the first time, having the nursery, having all those things, and like for you to lose all that, like you're so strong to be able to talk about it and to be okay with like where you are at. But it sounds like through other people helping you were able to, you know, bounce back. And
Yeah, and I think that's one of the hardest things is because at the time that it happened, I was on my way to Kansas City because I was going to go, because we went to Nashville. My parents at the time still lived in Kansas City, so they met us there to come watch Avery. And then me and Christian were going to go back with them to go visit my family.
Okay.
And so just, I was in the car on the way there, and I still went there because at the time Avery's dad called me, and I talked to Avery, and I was like, what is going on? He was still in Nashville with David, and they were going to drive back together either that night or the next day or something. But when I did go back home, just, it kind of hadn't like, wasn't real, I guess, while I was gone, because like, although people like had sent me pictures and there was a news article and like Avery's mom had gone there and was like kind of showing us all the stuff, but like when I actually went back home and saw it, and then it had been cleared to like be able to walk through it kind of, Christian's room was the hardest thing. Like the crib, just like, because it was like still standing, but it was just
all charred. And
and the pictures of like, because obviously like the firefighters had to go through to like move stuff to look for anything, but there was like 3 tubs in the corner of his room with some of his like baby clothes in it, that I was able to get out, like the onesie that he came home from the hospital. So I do have that, but then I mean everything basically just smelled like smoke, like really bad. Like none of our high school yearbooks that we had like some of them were, because they're thicker, they were thick books, so some of the outside, so we could kind of see some of the pages, but there were other things like Avery's wedding ring that I knew exactly where it was, because he never, I mean with jiu-jitsu he doesn't ever wear his like real one, but he had like a wood ring around it, like I knew where it was, so I told his mom to go find it, and she found it, but like the inside of it, the wood part was burned, but the rest of it was like fine. And then like this bracelet that he gave me in high school, she found it, and I still have it. But I think just like going there and seeing everything in person, it just kind of like, and now that it's been
6 years,
6 years, like
almost.
We've been able to talk about it more, and
Yeah.
kind of, and like it was kind of a blessing in disguise, really. I mean, obviously not the dogs, but other than that, like it allowed us to really like focus on the gym, and the community of people that we had, and focus on that, and kind of like put the house and everything to the side, but just still like knowing that we had everybody supporting us, has just really helped. Awesome. I think. And then a lot of those people that were there at the time are still here. So like
Yeah.
Stephanie, she
Yes.
was a huge part of, and this is like why I started jujitsu, because like just family in general, like knowing that if I had a job during the day and I worked until 5 o'clock, that if Avery had to leave every day at 3 o'clock, I would come home. I would work all day, come home, and he would be training all night. I would never see him.
Yeah.
So I started jujitsu basically just to see him.
Aw, yeah.
Because like even if he was just teaching or whatever, like I still just went to class to be able to hang out with him or see him, because otherwise I felt like I had like a whole mental breakdown about this one day, like just realizing that it was like right after Christian was born, that like I realized like when I go back to work, like I'm never gonna see him, like and like the weekends, but he still did tournaments and stuff on the weekends that and I was like freaking out. So I was like, I gotta go to jujitsu. Like,
Right. So timeline, let's talk that. Like, so you said you were an accountant in Charlotte for 6 years. So then when did you officially then start you quit that? What was the timeline on that again?
So I had worked up until Logan was born.
Okay.
So from
So that was
when we moved
2 years
here
ago.
in August 2016,
Uh-huh.
was working. When I
Yeah.
moved here, I got a job while I was still in school. I
Okay.
kind of just moved up from there. And then when Logan was born in May 2022, I was supposed to go back to work. It was like the day I was supposed to go back, and I was like, I can't. Like,
Yeah.
but I had kind of before then. So, it was probably Christian was born in 2019, 2020. It was about 2021-ish, sometime in there, that I stopped working for the office that I was in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And I moved to doing like QuickBooks Online and TurboTax Online so that I could be home and still kind of see them.
Yeah.
And then so like that was the job that I was working while pregnant with Logan.
Wow.
And then once he was born, I was kind of like still trying to juggle like
all of that,
the 2 kids with the gym stuff
plus a
and
job.
working.
Yeah.
We were kind of just like, it's hard. Like,
This is I know. Like, that is my daily battle, right? Like, as a mom, like, that works too. Like, I think back to my mom. My mom had 5 kids, my mom and dad, right? And I can't imagine having 5 kids, but I mean, so I know that was probably its own like huge like undertaking all in its own, but she was a stay-at-home mom, right? And I'm not knocking that, but having kids, also working outside of the home, doing a demanding job, like I'm sure, like accounting. I have some accounting friends, and they are nonstop working all the time, work like 90 hours a week. It's ridiculous. But like at least like I feel like it was a different day and age when my mom had all of us, right? And was a stay-at-home mom. And nowadays it's like, well, I got to work and I have the 2 kids and I have to have a super clean house. It's not clean, by the way. It's never clean. But then I have to have time to work out, and I want to do jujitsu, and then my kids are in sports and I'm driving them all over town every single night, and Kevin's working too and doing that as well. And it's just a never ending, I feel like I'm in the trenches, but listening to you, it sounds like you are too.
Yeah,
and
that's one thing that like it was hard because when Christian was little, like doing taxes, especially during like from January to the end of April to April, like we would have to work like all night, and it wasn't possible with Avery what he does, like being gone all night. So not all night, but during the evening.
He's got a long day.
So like I know one year before I switched to doing like the work from home, Avery's mom would go pick up Christian from daycare, and I basically wouldn't see him all day because I had to work like 8 to 10 o'clock at night during tax season. I mean, obviously they're a little bit more lenient during the summers and stuff. You get a little bit more time off, but I mean, you still have to work. There's still stuff to do. So
right.
so then when I did work from home doing the taxes, because I still did the taxes from home, it was just kind of like I still had to work those longer hours during tax season. It was just harder because now like Christian was there too. So I was like still trying to work while he was there and not have him just sit there and watch TV the whole time.
I know.
And
you have a lot of mom guilt too, right? Like you want to do all the things for your kids too, like make sure they're having fun experiences and doing what they need to, but that's very hard to juggle when you're working all the time. Yeah. What about strength? What does that look like to you? I know it's a hard question.
I think it's definitely not physical because I have absolutely no time to go to the gym. I wish, but if I was more disciplined and woke up earlier, but I'm, like I said last night, like I'm a night owl. I stay up because my house is quiet at nighttime and all the kids are asleep and Avery's asleep and I try to get stuff done. So I think strength is just mentally just basically pushing through, like getting the stuff done that you have to do, while also juggling everything else, being there for your kids, doing the work, and just staying positive, I think. Yeah. Because it is hard when I think about like, oh, I do want to go to jiu-jitsu and I do want to do all this. Just basically knowing that my time will come back. It'll come back to me and I'll be able to do it. And just being there for my kids.
So you mentioned staying positive. What is that source of strength that maybe does that for you? Like, what is it that helps you stay positive? What is it that helps you, that gives you that strength when you're feeling like, I mean, I know you're young, Ashley. You're much younger than me. But what is it that kind of gives you that charge or that strength?
I think my kids.
Yeah.
And Avery. I mean, just them. I mean, because we do run the business together, so just supporting each other with, like, he has the stuff that he has to do, and I have the stuff that I have to do, but knowing that, like, if we don't do it, like, we're not going to eat food anymore because, I mean, I know I have, like I've always said that accounting is, like, something I can always go back to because everybody's going to have to do their taxes, so I could always go back to it, but then all that guilt of all that other stuff comes back and but just supporting each other, and then obviously it all just comes back to the gym, like you guys doing it for you guys, having your guys' support, like support you guys, you support us, we want to support you,
that's awesome. Do you have anything new that's coming up that you can already speak about? Like whether it's on behalf of the gym, maybe in your personal life, is there anything coming up that's new on the horizon that you kind of want to talk about? Or you want to put something out there that we're going to hold you accountable to?
I mean, we're just always like trying to think of ways to do things better and more. I mean, we have a couple seminars with basically like the best no-gi guy coming and the best
Let's plug that while we're talking. Let's
like, back to back.
Put that out there. Yeah, what's coming up, Ashley? What's coming up? Is that next weekend already?
Gordon Ryan is coming next weekend to the gym. And that is definitely huge thanks to the Independence Fund.
Awesome.
Sarah Verardo, she is amazing.
Yeah, she is.
And I think, like, I'm busy. Like, I don't know how she does it, but she's amazing. The Independence Fund and everything that they do is amazing. And then in March, we are having Marcus Buchecha come as well for a seminar.
And that'll be gi?
That'll be gi. So he's, like, the best gi that I know. I mean, Avery's done a couple seminars with him, and he's amazing. But like the whole Gordon thing, like it's completely free for the community, which is insane. Yeah. Honestly. Like we just met him at the President's Ball.
Yeah. Wait, slow down, back up. Where did you meet him? Tell me about this.
Yeah, so we went to the ball.
The inaugural ball,
the Commander-in-Chief
the Commander-in-Chief ball.
That was kind of crazy as well, but we just met him there.
Yeah.
We saw him at ADCC, but we didn't get to like talk to him or anything.
Yeah.
But then at the ball, we were like leaving, and he was like, Avery had like walked past him, and I'm very proud of myself for this because Avery walked past him and GSP, and I was like, wait, Avery, was that him? And then like, cause he was wearing a cowboy hat and he was like clean shaven, cause at ADCC like right before that he had like the gray beard and everything, but I was like, Avery, I think that's him, and he kind of like walked back and looked at him. He was like, no, I don't know, and then he like turned again, and Avery's like, it is him. And I was like, I saw him before you did. So then we like waited to talk to him and George St. Pierre, who is like amazing as well. He's retired MMA fighter in the UFC.
I used to watch him. Yeah.
So Avery got to talk to both of them about like Gordon Ryan's instructionals that he watches all the time. Avery just watches instructionals to be better coach for everybody. And then GSP, like Avery talked to him because he started with a Kyokushin karate background, which is what Avery started, and not a lot of people that do MMA start with that. So that's something that he's always looked up to him for, and resonated with him with that. So, but yeah, so we got to talk to him and take pictures with him.
That is cool. And I love how you are all nonchalant about this. She just does this flex on Instagram with her Commander-in-Chief ball badge. And I, like, text her. I was like, are you at the ball? What is happening? How do I not know this?
Yeah.
And you were, like, I had literally seen you, I think, like, the day before or something. I don't even know what was the day before. But I had just seen you, like, the day before.
Yeah.
And then it was, like, the next day.
We got tickets to go to the inauguration. But because of the weather and, like, whatever they did, they moved it inside.
Yes.
So then we, like, kind of weren't sure if we were going to go because we had the tournament that Saturday.
That's what it was, the tournament, yes.
And a lot of them from Sarah's group and stuff, they were going earlier than that. So they invited us to go, I think it was like Thursday or something, but we were like, we can't do that. So then Avery's like, I don't know if we're going to go. And then we did the tournament all day Saturday, and then he did a seminar up at Rowan Wrestling Sunday.
Yes.
And then I was like, well, the inauguration isn't until Monday, and there's no school, so, and it's like whatever holiday it was.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King. Yeah. And so it was Martin Luther King Day, so I was like, there's no school that day either, and the daycare is closed anyway, and so I was like, we could go from the Rowan Wrestling seminar, drop the kids off at my parents' house in Winston-Salem, and then drive to D.C. Wow. And he was like, we actually could. And so, like, we were like, all right, let's do it. So then we, like, just kind of, like, didn't really tell anybody.
No.
And then, so, like, we had gotten tickets for the inauguration, but we decided to walk around D.C. Because it was, like, inside now. And the tickets that we got were just, like, outside of where it normally is.
Yes.
But we were like, we're just not going to deal with that crowd of people because I don't really like large crowds of people anyway. So we just went to, like, the museums and stuff and walk around. And then that morning they called us and they were like, yeah, we got you tickets to go to the ball. And we had no idea, like, which ball, because there was, like, several balls that night. Yes. And then we found out it was a Commander-in-Chief ball. And I texted my dad, and my dad was like, no freaking way. And my grandma and my aunt were like, what? And I was like, I don't know. Like, we're just here. And, like, they were like, it's a black tie event. And we were like, I don't have any. I know. Black tie. We literally went shopping that day. Oh, Avery went to Goodwill to buy a suit because we were like, I'm not paying for, like. Right. But, like, I mean, it was a pretty nice suit for, I don't know. Yeah. He doesn't wear suits that often, so he doesn't really care. But then we went to Kohl's and he got, like, a suit jacket. He's always wanted, like, one of the coats to put over a suit. He was so excited. He wouldn't take it off. That's so funny. And then I got a dress. So, I mean, I feel like we looked okay for, like, last minute. Like, we literally, like, walked around all the museums, and they're like, all right, it's tonight at 7. We were like, we didn't even have time to go back to our hotel because our hotel was, like, an hour away. Oh, wow. So we literally went to an Anytime Fitness bathroom, got dressed in a gym bathroom to go to the freaking Commander-in-Chief ball. I love you guys. Like, oh, my gosh. But, like, it was a crazy weekend. Wow. And then I feel like, were you back by Tuesday? Yes. Yeah. We came back Tuesday morning. Teaching classes so that Avery Tuesday night. Could teach class. So this is how they live their life, ladies and gentlemen. It is nonstop all the time. There was, we were at a tournament. I want to say it was an IBJJF one in Charlotte at some point.
and I remember talking to Avery, and we were talking about nonstop sports schedule, and this was like last year or whatever. And Avery was talking about like Christian playing, I think football at the time at the Y or whatever it was. And I just remember him making a statement like, if you're not always like, if you're not on the go, and you're not really living, right? And I just love that about you guys. You're just eager to always be on the go, eager to like just make a good living for your kids and an upbringing for your kids and for other people, and that's really cool.
Yeah, Christian's about to start football and soccer.
Oh my goodness.
Because he yelled at me because I didn't sign him up for soccer the last time in time, so he's taken like quite a bit of a break from like the other sports. So he was like, I want to do football and soccer at the same time. So he has like football on Tuesdays and Thursdays and football on Wednesdays, or soccer on Wednesdays and Saturdays. But obviously he still go to
plus jiu-jitsu.
And that's just like always a thing for him. And then he's getting ready to do the youth MMA thing. So we just like to stay busy.
Yeah, it keeps you going.
But I think it's good for the kids to do other sports too. As well.
You want them to be well-rounded.
Yeah, because we don't, I mean, jiu-jitsu is something that they can do for literally the rest of their lives if they want to. So soccer and baseball and football, those aren't things that you can do. I mean, you can play them, but like in a competitive way, unless you go professionally. And even then you can't play like when you're 60s, 70s. So jiu-jitsu will always be there. So we want him to be able to, you know, do other things too, because he likes playing soccer and doing all those things. So,
who or what inspires you the most right now? Who or what?
Oh man,
I know it's a hard question.
I don't know. Who inspires me?
I mean, and I have to also speak about like your parents and Avery's parents, because any like event at the gym, anytime I'm like we're all together as a group of people, as friends, as a part of like members of the gym, like your families are always there, and I feel like they're very supportive of you guys.
They are, yes.
Like, I mean, just very loving families. And so, I mean, would you say like they've had a really big like influence in your background, in your life?
They do, yeah. So my mom, she was a stay-at-home mom. There was 4 of us, so
wow.
So like I understand like just financially, just being a big part of it. Like, staying home with us and understanding now better, being able to, with 3 kids of my own, like kind of being able to relate to it now in more of a way. And then like my dad, obviously he was working, for us, like to provide for us and everything. He was always there when I played softball. He was my coach, all that stuff. And then Avery's parents, Avery, they had him when she was really young. So, like super young. But she turning that into like, they're both doctors now. Yeah. So like, like it's amazing to see like what they've done as well. And they've just always been there. I mean, and like we've been together for so long pretty now. Like life, they're just like his little sister, she's about to turn 16. And I was with Avery before she was even born. So she like, and Mia was like 7, I think. So they're just, I mean, just all of them, like they're all very supportive of everything that we do. And like my dad will joke about like when I call him, like you're like, what do you need from me now? Like, is it like, do you need something? Like he'll go hang. He has hung all of the banners. Well, he started hanging the banners, but all of like the trophies and stuff that are behind the desk, like he hung all the shelves for that. And I'm like, listen, there's some more on the desk. I need you to come hang up some more. Yeah. I was like, our team is just so good that we just got like more trophies.
You just got that shout out from New Breed. How cool was that?
Oh yeah.
Like New Breed decided to like that like got a picture of all the banners at the gym, and they like it was on their socials. That was really awesome.
Yeah, well we like to, I mean it's just something that like you guys put so much work into it, competing and just being able to like have those as reminders for you guys, like even while you're training, just to see those. And even if like you're not competing, because obviously like we don't force anybody to compete. It's kind of just like a chain reaction, like a little a little thing that happens that somebody comes in, they're like, I'm never going to compete. And we're like, okay.
Oh, okay. Never say never.
Yep. Avery's like, challenge accepted. but no, like we don't like force anybody to compete or anything. It just kind of like they see, like, especially with the kids, like they'll see somebody do it and they're like, oh, that looks kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then the parents will be like, well, they're kind of interested. And they're like, oh, take them to the next tournament and just kind of watch.
Yeah.
Watch what the team does. Watch how the other teammates react. Because that is something that we have gotten compliments on like several times, is just basically the support of our athletes.
Yeah.
And I mean, this goes back to like what inspires me is this, like you guys, like the women's group inspires me. Yeah. The kids, just have something for them to do inspires me.
Yeah.
To be there for them, basically, like just like it's just amazing, like the whole program, everything. Honestly, like Avery works like so hard for this, and we do have bigger dreams for the gym. Like obviously, like never stop, but like we have the super fights that we want to do.
Yes.
Coming up. And then obviously we'd eventually like our own building to be able to have the after school in the same building. So
right. So like a bigger space.
Bigger space.
He's mentioned too, like even like would like gym equipment. Would he ever do like?
Yes. We want it to be like basically a one-stop shop for everybody.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
So it would be great to have like bathroom. I'm not bathroom. We have bathrooms. To have showers. Yeah. Because like we do have a larger-ish group that come in the morning and the noon. That they
so like a locker room.
Yeah, locker room.
Yeah.
So even if it's like one or two, like where they can in the morning they can come to class, take a shower, and then go to work.
Yep.
Or in the noon classes, there's several people that come during their lunch break so that they can come, take a shower, go back to work. Yep. And then just having, even if it's not like a huge facility, like having workout equipment, because it does, I mean, help. Yeah. Jiu-jitsu, wrestling, all of it. Like, that way they can come, even if there's like a day that they don't want to train that day, but they want to come work out, but they're still like with the team, with the family, with everything. And then the after school, having it there, or the summer camps, just so that like it's easier for them to go back and
absolutely.
forth.
Do you want to speak to any of that, like the summer camps, any of the, like, do you want to talk more about the children's program? I mean, you guys you've developed a lot of that, right? Like these track out camps.
Yeah,
like...
we have an after school program, summer camps, and then we do track outs for Thales Academy that they have. They go year round, so they'll have basically summer camps during the middle of the year. We have a couple coming up in March that they'll do. But I think the program, like, there's a lot of places like that, like it's good for the kids, because when they go, they need an after school program. Like obviously, like some parents need it, so they don't. School gets out at like 2:00 for elementary school kids, but they have to work till 5 or 6, and it's like, well, what do I do? Like, so they come to the after school program, but then as part of that, like they can come to the kids classes, and so they'll go play some games when they get out from school, kind of wind down and all that, and then they'll go do classes, and it's just like, I mean, it kind of builds off of each other, really. It
does, yeah.
And like it's great to see like the kids that are in the program, like Corey, she was one of the first ones that we had. She came to us basically for the after school program, and then she turned into like
this superstar.
She is amazing.
I mean, just going to ADCC, no big deal. Like, for sure.
She went to compete for ADCC in Las Vegas. Like, that was wild. Yeah. But like even all the other kids, like Hannah, like she'll go and she'll go to class. Yeah. And it's just like, just being there. We've had a couple kids that did jiu-jitsu at another school, but because we had an after school program, they were like, well, it's hard for us to get them from school and then get them like to go there. So then they were like, well, that would be awesome if they could just get picked up from school and then go straight. Like they would already be there to go to classes. And like, I think it's just helped. Like,
yes, it's so convenient. It's like we use it too as well for Hannah. And just what's cool about it, coming from the education world, we have an after-school program at our school, a before and after-school program. And, I mean, what's offered at Triumph, I love how you guys even, like, you'll do, like, we're talking even, like, Valentine's Day. You guys threw them a party. I walked in, I was like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, what's going on? And they decorated, they had pizza, they had games, they had snacks. Like you guys kind of go above and beyond with that, and that's pretty cool. You have incentives for the kids doing classes. Like, hey, are you doing class today? You get a sticker on your reward chart. And then, like, so you guys implement a lot of really cool incentives that, you know, get the kids wanting to compete, wanting to go, you know, just do class. And so that's really awesome too. I love that.
Thanks. It's always something that, like, when I was little, I wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
But as I got older, kids, like, kind of annoy me. I don't think I could ever be a teacher. I literally don't know how you guys do it. But, like, with homeschooling Christian and then the after-school program, like, I get to do, like, teacher things.
Yeah.
Like the bulletin board I did.
Yes, it's so cute. You have little book areas, book nooks.
I get to do, like, some, like, cool, like, teacher things.
Yeah.
And then teach Christian. So,
yeah.
I love it.
That's awesome. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to share with us today that we maybe didn't get a chance to, or?
I mean, I think that just everybody should do jujitsu.
I know, it's so funny. I'm sitting here listening to this conversation.
I know, like, you keep saying this isn't a jujitsu
I
know. But, like...
Well, and like, it's funny because I'm like, strong, successful females, and then I feel like we're talking about jiu-jitsu the whole time, but like, and the last few episodes that I did with Addie and Stephanie, same idea, like, but again, it just kind of keeps coming back to it, right?
It
like,
does.
there's
in so many different areas in life, like, the resiliency of, like, going, because, like, that's one thing, like, that I struggle with now is that, like, before, like, when I did start jiu-jitsu before I had Logan, like, I was, like, pretty good at it. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I was doing really good.
Well, you're an athlete.
The
of course you would be.
competitions were, like, I was killing it, you know?
Yeah.
But then, like, I had to stop. So then, like, going back and, like, basically I stopped at this. Like, obviously, me and Avery talk about jiu-jitsu all the time. Like, he watches videos. And, like, I'll go help the kids' classes randomly. But, like, I don't actually, like, do it, right? So, like, knowing that I've stayed at this point that I was at and that everybody else is just gotten so much better. Like, it scares me to go back.
I know,
like,
they come in and they're so good.
But, like, you guys are just so inspiring, too. Like, you're always like, we can't wait for you to come back. And, like, I know in my head when I go back, and, like, even when I was doing the classes before December, all that stuff happened, like, I would go and I would be like, well, she's a blue belt, so she should be better. But then it's like, I know that's not what other people think because, like, they understand, like,
there's so many factors.
Off, and there's so many things that, like, but, like, everybody's just so great, and they're like, I can't wait for you to come. Like, and then when I do go, they're like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. But they're not like, you know, there's, like, the people, like, they'll joke, and they'll be like, when you coming back? I haven't seen you in a while. Or, like, really, Avery is, like, the biggest, like, who are you? Who's even in that picture? Like,
he's going to give you the most.
But, like, he's also, like, encouraging about it, too, to where, like, he's like, well, no, people don't understand, like, everything that's going on. And, like, even him doesn't really understand, like, the whole mom guilt and stuff that I have. Because, like, to him, going to class every night, it's like, he has to. It is his job. So then, but, like, I still feel like he's very supportive, like, in other ways, like, encouraging me to go back to class, but also like pushing me to, because he knows I'm competitive. So like in a way, be like, well, when you did this, you were really good, and like all that stuff. So, but like it also is like a big pressure on me. I feel like to go to class in a way, just basically being his wife, because I feel like they're like, oh, well, the owner's wife is here, the coach's wife is here, she should be so good. But and I'm like I feel like people don't actually, like, it's weird because like I feel like people think that.
Yes,
but
but
I
they
don't think people
yes.
actually think that. And they're like, oh, well, she's been doing jiu-jitsu since 2019. Like, why does she suck so bad? Like,
Yeah, but
like,
you've had breaks.
But
and you've
also,
had,
like,
yeah.
they don't. And
Right.
they're just so encouraging.
And this is the thing, like, your journey's your journey, right? I remember feeling that, like, when I was pregnant with Hannah, right? Like, so with my firstborn, like, you hear everyone's story. Every woman wants to tell you, well, my birth story. And, like, and again, they're telling you as a means of, like, support. But at the same time, there was one point where I just had to tell myself, Bethany, your story is your story. You might have preconceived notions about how it's supposed to go. But in all reality, I mean, God has bigger plans for us, right? Things happen the way they do, and you just have to accept that, right? And I feel like as women, we sometimes, like, compare and, like, make it seem like, oh, well, this girl's doing this, I should be doing it, and that's not necessarily the case. And the way you feel is the way I feel, too. Like, as a blue belt, these white belts coming in, showing me up, and I'm like, I'm a blue belt. I'm supposed to squash you. And sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. And but again, it's like you're putting that stress on yourself, those limitations on yourself.
For me,
yes,
but, like,
yes.
I just feel like
we'll just be happy to have you back.
Everybody's staring at me like, why do you suck so bad?
No,
like, you should be better. Like, you live with the coach. Like, but
sometimes harder.
Yeah, right? And I'm like, no, like, I don't actually do jiu-jitsu. I can talk about jiu-jitsu a lot, but I don't get to practice jiu-jitsu a lot.
Yes.
So.
But it is really good. I definitely think it's, if you're going through a hard time, like, it's such a great outlet. And, like, I've said this time and time again, just, like, on a really bad day, it's easy to be like, well, I don't want to go to the gym or lift or whatever it may be that is your outlet, but you never regret when you do it. It always makes you feel better. And I talk about it all the time with everybody. And so I definitely agree with you. It's such a powerful sport, and it's mental, it's physical, it's everything.
Yeah, when I talk to new people that call and they're interested in it, like, I talk about it like I go 24/7 a day. I'm like, it's so great for you. It's so fun. Like, it's mentally challenging. It's physically challenging. And it really is like a chess game. Like,
it is.
Like, they do something, you gotta counter back. You gotta understand, like, when they do this, these are your options. You gotta, and then just figuring that out, like, figuring out the puzzle, like, what to do and how to get better. And, like, I use you guys examples all the time, like, especially you, because, like, you came from no athletic background. So, like, and they're like, this is Bethany, like, she's never done this before, but look at her out here in competitions killing it. Or, like, even the people that don't compete, like, they just want to come, and this is their, like, way to get some extra exercise or get some time to just be with friends, get out of the house, because you never know what people are going through. And it's just always, I mean, well, the women's is always a very supportive group. The men, most of them are all very they're all supportive in their own manly way.
Yes, they just support each other in a different way. But they just talk crap to each other.
But that's because David is getting so good.
Yeah, they're all so good.
But they're all, like,
it is scary, though, seeing these new girls coming in, and they just, I feel like they're learning it so fast. Going back to Brittany, right?
Yeah.
We'll have to tell Brittany, make sure she watches this one, because we talked about her a lot. But Brittany, for example, she used to say that to some, like, I would compare that to, like, when she says it to, like, me, Kelly, Addie, some of the girls that, like, kind of came in the time I did, where she's like, you guys are just picking it up so fast. I feel like that's not me. I feel like I have to see it move a million times before I can actually be really good at it. But, like, these new girls, they come in and I feel like they're doing moves and I'm like, what? I'm still, like, not good at that move. But
they're just, like, I feel like they just learn it.
They pick up quickly.
I'll go pick up Christian from the homeschool class that we have, and, like, I'll start to watch part of the noon class, and I just, like, Kelly and Hannah and Amber, like, they're just like, how do they know? And then, like Avery is, like, talks about, like, he is very proud of the women's group.
Awesome.
And what it's turned into since, like, Brittany kind of started taking it over and everything. But, like, Hannah just coming in, not knowing anything. She just did an MMA fight.
And won.
And she won.
Yep.
And then just, like, Amber going out there, her competitions, like, killing it. Like, just all of you. Like, Kelly, like, obviously she works, and then she goes to the noon classes.
Yeah.
And she is one of the older ones.
Yeah.
She's not old by any means, but, like,
I'm older than her. It's okay.
So, like, you guys just, like, knowing that you guys are, like, older and still doing it, still getting out there, hanging out with a young kid. Like,
I know.
You're killing it. Like, you went against the 20-year-old.
Thanks. Well, and shout out to Brooklyn, my little 18-year-old counterpart that I train with all the time. I'm like, we're BFFs. I'm like, really? I'm 43.
Yeah. No, that's what, like, it's crazy because, like, you don't even think about, like, how old people are, or not, or how young, like,
or how different we are, and we all do this one sport that brings us together, and it makes you like family. It's so cool. Yeah, I love it.
Everybody's just so amazing.
I love it. Well, I attribute that to you and Avery. You guys have established such an awesome culture at the gym. It's a great place to be. So if you're looking for a gym for kickboxing, for MMA, for jiu-jitsu, Triumph Fight Academy in Indian Land, South Carolina is the place to be. And the people you bring in, the company you guys keep is amazing. It is just a great place to be. So I recommend checking them out. Any other like final plugs? Social media, check you out.
I don't even
on
know
Instagram.
What my Instagram. I think it's Ashley.Richard94. I think.
But yeah, you can get in touch with her also through Triumph Fight Academy on Instagram. They have a YouTube channel. Like and subscribe there. You guys stream a lot of when you do super fights, you'll stream those, right?
Yeah, we do.
Is the Friday night fight thing going to be a regular thing? I'm curious about that.
Probably. It's just kind of like in between the big shows that we're doing. So we have one March 15th.
A big one, right?
The big one. So we're matchmaking and everything for that, doing the posters, all of that. So we kind of stopped doing the Friday night fights, but those are just kind of to keep the community active. Yeah. It's a completely free event.
Yeah, just casual, really informal.
Yeah. And we did change up the format that we're doing for those. So we're actually going to do that in the big event that's coming up. Avery really liked how it turned out.
Awesome.
So we're going to try that for the big event.
Okay.
And so if anybody's wanting to compete for free, you can sign up on Smooth Comp to compete. But yeah, we're trying to match for that. And then this Friday night super fights will just kind of be like, when Avery feels like we don't have anything on a Friday, that he's like, well, let's just do that. Because the first one we did, he planned it like the Tuesday before. And he's like, no, like this Friday we're going to do it. And I was like, what? And I thought he meant like the next Friday. He's like, no, like this Friday. We're not doing anything. So we're going to do it this Friday. Yeah. Can you make these posters? And I was like, okay,
sure.
We'll get this done.
But then it was cool. And then afterwards, a group of us all went out. We had dinner, and it was just awesome. Yeah. Like, what a great way to be on a Friday night instead of going somewhere, getting drunk, and doing like what maybe other people do on a Friday night, partying it up after the stress of a week. Like, we got to go do that. We hung out with some really awesome people, made some healthy, conscious choices. Yes. Went and had dinner together, and it was amazing. It was. It filled my cup. So I love it. I love that you guys do that.
Yeah, and everybody at the gym is just so like
cool to be with.
Amazing. Like, even if I'm not there for like a couple weeks. Yeah. Like, I'm obviously part of the girls group text and everything, and I don't see you guys as much as I want to, but like I always still just feel like a part of you guys. A part of it. I know. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thanks, Ashley.
Well, I guess we will go ahead and finish it up then if there's nothing else.
I don't think so.
Well, I appreciate anything else. No. Well, I appreciate you coming today. And finally, I would just, again, love to invite everyone that's listening to share this podcast with someone that you think would enjoy these amazing women that I've been having on. And while you are at it, like and subscribe to Gunz and Rollz Fitness, as well as Triumph Fight Academy, their YouTube channel. But on Gunz and Rollz Fitness, you'll be able to see more of the Gunz Bunz podcast episodes like this one. And I hope you guys keep coming back. Thanks so much, Ashley.
Thank you.
Love your friend. Bye.
Love you.